This is Alley Catch, and you're watching Cool TV.
What is up, everybody, and welcome into another episode of PW60. I am Mr. B Roll, and I am joined by none other than the Wrestling Encyclopedia himself, MJD Duplessis. Michael, how are we doing today, sir?
Good, how are you?
This is a very special episode of PW60 here because it is actually our 99th episode. Can can you believe it? We have done 99 episodes of PW60, and it looks like right now we're trying to do the whole like John Cena gimmick and have like no background whatsoever. I'm not sure what's up with that, but oh look, with the magic of technology, we can fix things like that. Um, but special episode number 99 coming at you. Um, but as always, here on PW60, the clock does not start until we say so. So, Michael, would you like to utter the infamous words of the clock starts?
Now.
Perfect. Well, let's get right into it because we had not one, not two, not three, but actually five different shows going on over this past weekend. Everything
Six,
from
because there's an event happening right now.
six because there's an event happening right now.
We
So
have we have Cage of Survival happening. I was actually watching Cage of Survival
that yep,
as you messaged me.
yep, that is true indeed. So I mean a jam-packed weekend of wrestling. What more could you ask for? We had everything from Worlds Collide to Money in the Bank to Tournament of Survival, uh, Cage of Survival, like you just said, and MLW did a show, and so did TNA. And here in PW60, we're going to give you a little bit of a rundown on each of those shows and what happened. But of course, we've got to start with Money in the Bank. Uh, what were your overall thoughts on Money in the Bank this year?
Phenomenal show. I thought it
Phenom-
was really good.
phenomenal show.
Yeah.
Uh, I, I'll agree with you there. I'm not gonna lie, going into it was
It,
not was not super hyped.
Me neither. And it exceeded expectations very much.
E- exactly, and that's what I was hoping for, kind of going into it. That my expectations were so low that it was going to exceed them. But let's get right into it. Let's start with what was your main event of the evening. You had the tag match with Cody Rhodes teaming up with Jay Uso, going against John Cena and Logan Paul. Um, Cody and Jay end up picking up the win here. Uh, we did see a little bit of turmoil,
Dissension
dissension
between John and Logan. Kind of
between
like
John
that.
and Logan. Uh, on our prediction show, I had said that I thought maybe that would happen. but that was simply just because I know they have a Saudi show, and I feel like maybe it's Logan Paul and John Cena going against each other then.
I
Um,
would not be shocked.
but what were your thoughts on the main event of the evening here?
The main event was really good for the story it told.
Yes,
Uh, uh,
because
to,
well, I mean, let's address the elephant in the room, or should we say, the R-Truth or Ron Killings in the room, because I mean, did did we get worked? Did we see this come?
no,
I
I
mean, like,
definitely do think the WWE fans once again pulled a like they did with Brian Danielson at WrestleMania 30. Uh, they got what they wanted. The fans
got
and the guys in the back were upset that Ron got was getting, his contract not renewed, and the fans and the talent because the talent was very visibly upset on internet. You saw the outpouring from the rest of the locker room when that news came out, and I think Triple H, had to talk to TKO and be like, yeah, no, this ain't happening
yeah.
because
I
I
mean,
think from what I read there is a new contract, a long contract
yeah.
for Mr. Ron Killings.
I mean, this was beautifully done because no one saw this coming
No.
in a million years. Um, Whether it was a work or whatever it was. But yeah, like you said, I don't think it was. I don't think it was. It wasn't a work. it um, man, what I mean, because even it throughout the show and the shows this week, multiple chants of "We want truth, we
Yeah,
want truth."
that
Like so, I mean, this this is awesome in my opinion. I'm super excited to see where they go from here with it, and uh,
and I did read that he will be going by his name.
that is that is
Uh,
that is what
for
seems because I think he's even like listed on the merch site as
Ron Killings. I haven't
yeah
checked the merch. I checked the official website, and it was still our truth. So, but from what I heard, changing internally to Ron Killings, which
okay
if you watched Ron Killings pre WWE, he's a bad motherfucker.
yeah so well I am for one excited very excited to see where they go from here so because there's so many different directions they can go. I, to be honest, I kind of hope they run with the whole he doesn't work here for a little bit. Um,
That would be kind of fair.
but we shall see. We shall see how we go from here.
Yeah.
But excellent, excellent into this match. But let's get in right into the men's Money in the Bank match with Seth freaking Rollins picking up the win here. I gotta say, I'm not shocked.
Not shocked
This
at all.
this
And for
was
the first time in a long time, I thought the men's was better than the women's.
real. See,
Yes.
the men's was interesting
The men's
because
told so many stories within that match that I thought it was beautifully done.
yeah, the men's was really interesting because which
It was convoluted as fuck, but it
yeah
told stories.
yeah. So I was watching it with XLJ, who is currently on his way to Iowa right now, which is why he's not here. But I was watching it with him, and I even made the comment like this was maybe like during the first 5 or 10 minutes of the match. Man, I'm just really not into this match. Like I'm struggling to get invested into this one. And it was like shortly after I said that uh,
Tell the story.
began to put their foot on the gas, and it started kind of with like the El Grande Americano part where he started climbing the ladder from the outside and everything, and it was just like from there on it was just like moment and crazy spot after, and it it picked up from there, and I had picked Seth to win it.
Same.
Because ultimately I feel
That
like,
faction's gonna run Raw.
yep, and I feel like Jay is going to have a brutal match against Gunther, somehow barely scrape by, and then Seth's coming out to pick the bones, and
Yeah.
that's what.
I also think that we are about to see new tag team champions in a
Yep,
Bronson and Braun.
the bronze,
Yeah,
the bronze.
I think that faction is about to have all the gold.
Yeah, it could definitely happen. Um, but yeah, I also want to ask, like, how do we feel about uh, Cash App being the official sponsor of the Money in the Bank briefcase?
That genius.
It makes
Money,
sense,
Cash
right?
App. That the fact that that had not happened yet, kind of
It
crazy.
makes sense. A lot of
It
mixed
does.
reviews about the product advertisement and placement
I
during
will go on a rant about that at some point because
at some point. You want to talk about the fireball ladder? You want to talk about it?
that was that was interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah. The product placement. Hey TKO, this isn't the UFC. There doesn't need to be product placement on everything. And if the rumors are true about them trying to put product placement on wrestlers' gear, fuck TKO as a company if that happens.
oh,
And Dana
time will.
White can kiss my ass if that's the case. Because I know he's a major part of the board of TKO.
Well, time will tell on that one. But the men's was not the only Money in the Bank ladder match. We also had the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, which was absolutely loaded from top to bottom with talent.
Yeah.
Uh, it was easily could have been said that any of those women could have won it.
Yeah. I
Um,
was when I was watching it, I was like, um, this could go any way. With the men's one, I was like, with the story they're telling, Seth is gotta win. Like that's
yeah,
just how I felt. But with this, I actually went into it like I had chose Naomi, but I was actually very, very like they could go with multiple women here.
yeah. I mean, because you had like your new guard with Stephanie Vicker and Julia and Roxanne,
Yeah.
and then
They could have went with the underdog win, yeah, with Roxanne.
yep,
Uh,
yeah,
they
and
could have done the wrong thing and went with Rhea. I'm glad they didn't.
yep, they could have went with Rhea, but I mean the thing with Rhea is like she didn't need it. Um,
That's why I was like, because they be pushing her to the moon. They've been trying to, Triple H her. When I say Triple H, I mean like always put her in the title picture. And I was like, please don't do that again.
yeah, but
Uh, I
honestly,
no offense to
I,
Rhea, I just
yeah,
want more women,
yeah,
like different.
so I had picked Alexa in this match, but honestly, I feel like the right person won this match. I
Yeah,
feel like Naomi was in the right spot and had the most to gain from this, and I am really excited to see um, where we're going to go from here with her with that briefcase and everything.
I will be 100% honest. I don't know if they're gonna allow her to cash in successfully. I do think they might do a thing where she is going to be the first one to not cash in successfully,
Yeah.
and Jade costs her.
Well, let's be real though. I mean, it is time for a like a women's cash in to not succeed. You
Yeah,
can't
facts.
you can't keep going on with it 100% like success rate
Yeah, and I
with
think
it.
with the
So
Jade storyline, it works perfectly that way.
yeah. So but I mean overall, so what did you think of the women's Money in the Bank ladder match? I know you said you liked the men's a little bit better.
Yes,
Um,
the women was great. I the storytelling and furthering storylines. I thought the men's was like did really well because we didn't talk about Jacob turning on Solo finally.
oh yeah, we didn't talk about that. That was a huge
The
moment.
the
I
I hate
hate you Solo.
so like in the men like in ring work. I did think the women's was a little bit better. I just storyline wise in the progression, I thought the men's did its job.
Hmm.
Because you advanced so many storylines with the Seth dominating and wanting to get that gold back, and the Jacob Solo storyline with JC Mateo. But the women's, those women kick ass every year in the Money in the Bank. Those
Yes.
women, they they always have the women start the show, and they're like, okay, follow this every year,
Yep.
and it's amazing.
And then I mean, you got Stephanie Vicker doing her
So,
Devil's Kiss, right? Is what they call
yeah,
it
the Devil's Kiss. Salute
on
to
the
Stephanie
ladder.
Vickier. 3 matches, 24 hours. And she kicked ass in every match.
Yes, yes, sir, indeed. Um, but both Money in the Bank matches were great. But we had to make Naomi our wrestler of the week. Now, jumping to our next match here, we had Becky Lynch defeating Lyra Valkyria for the IC title.
This was beautifully done, also.
Beautifully done, also. I mean, you kind of had a feeling that
Yeah,
in this match again, like Becky wasn't losing twice,
no.
right? Um, I selfishly was clamoring for
I think we all were.
A
I think
Bailey
we all
return.
wanted Lyra to win.
Yeah.
But, like, I think storyline wise, again, I think there is a chance we might get a Bailey again here soon.
See that's me. I'm clamoring for a Bailey return.
Maybe a
Like
triple threat at Evolution, or Bailey being a special guest referee at Evolution, but for a third match would be used to. But I do think we get a Bailey, and then Bailey and Becky go for the IC title. Uh, the match was great. The ending with this and the attack was beautifully done.
hmm yeah. I mean, arguably, you could say. I mean, there's an argument to be made that this was the best match on the entire show. That argument could be made.
I have
Uh,
a special place in my heart for another match,
okay,
but
okay,
yeah, this was probably the second best match on the card.
okay. All right. So I wonder. I just wonder. So
Yes.
we have Dominic Mysterio going up against Octagon Junior. So it sounds like this is the one you have a special place for.
Yes, as a fan of '90s lucha libre and old school AAA, and Octagon, the original Octagon, and Rey Mysterio always wrestling against each other in AAA in the early '90s, had a great feud. They wrestled on multiple big AAA cards. It was cool to see Octagon Junior and Dominic go out in the ring.
Yeah, and
I
this
think,
was a late addition
yeah,
to
the
the
way they did it
card.
too, that was
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, let's get. I mean, this match was. I mean, it wasn't super long or
No,
anything, but I
it told the
mean,
story great.
yep. I mean, this match literally got set up day of at the next event we're going to get ready to talk about, which was Worlds Collide. Um, I absolutely loved this show. And honestly, if you were to ask me to choose which show I liked better, Money in the Bank or Worlds Collide, I would say Worlds Collide.
Same.
Um, I thought it was absolutely amazing from top to bottom. Um, but man, that main event with Chad Gable and El
Thank
Hijo del
God they did the
Vikingo.
right thing.
I mean, I never doubted for a second that they would. Okay, maybe I did, but I mean,
I don't trust people.
yeah, yeah, it can be it can be hard. It can be hard, but man, this match. I mean, on paper, you knew it was going to be a solid match.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Showed
it,
against Chad Gable's one of the most underrated wrestlers on the roster. That table spot was crazy.
hmm
Vikingo is a god in Lucha Libre. And I think this really did cement his
yeah,
spot
I mean,
on a
yeah,
major scale.
on a major scale, like I would hope now, like if people are sleeping on uh, El Hijo del Vikingo, I hope they definitely got woke up this past weekend. But man, I mean, this match just delivered from top to bottom. It delivered everything I expected in this match, and even more. Um, and honestly, I have to say, this one has to be our match of the week this week. Uh,
Definitely
I
should be.
I absolutely just I loved this match, and I literally can't stress that enough. Man, it was just I mean, it was one of those things. It was one of those matches that you want to go back and watch it again, and like I just kept jumping back to the fact of like they're giving this away free on YouTube. Like, I mean,
Crazy.
great crazy stuff. Like I didn't have to pay for a Peacock subscription to be able to watch this. Um, and it makes me wonder down the road what they're going to be doing with Triple Mania. Speaking of Triple Mania, having Conan on commentary for this show, amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. I wanted to say that before I forgot. Um, but we also saw Ethan Page ends up retaining his North American title in a four-way match here. Uh, I thought this match was solid, and it really got to highlight some of the other talent in this match because you had let's see, you have Laredo Kid, Ray Phoenix, and
And
then
Javon Evans.
Javon Evans, and I mean all these guys could go, and
Yeah.
I even liked on the commentary how they were like, "Man, we haven't seen Ethan Page do this much like high flying stuff like ever."
Wow.
I mean, it was really neat to get to see you know uh, like Ethan Page like work this style of match and everything, and I
I
mean I
haven't seen
think
Ethan Page work that way since he worked in PWG back in the day.
yeah,
Yeah. So good.
but
Yeah. Good on those four.
I mean I feel like this match it served its purpose. It was entertaining. I mean ultimately Ethan Page ends up retaining, which I feel like is probably was the right call in this situation. We also had a women's match on this show with Lola Vice and Stephanie Vicar. And Mike, you're going to have to help me out with the AAA women's names because I'm going to be honest. I can't
1
remember.
minute. I'm
I think it's Tormenta
yes.
and uh,
Yeah. 1 minute. Tormenta and Delis.
yes, there it is.
Delis.
But
Chick
like you,
Chick Tormenta. Chick Tormenta and Delis.
yep. And I
It
mean, like you were saying with Stephanie Vaquer, 3 matches in like less than 48 hours. I mean, like it
yes.
was.
And they brought it up on commentary, but Chick Tormenta was one of the ones to actually help. Actually, Chick Tormenta and Delis were two of the ones to actually help train Stephanie.
Hmm,
So
yeah.
they did bring up the student beating the teacher,
Hmm.
which I thought was a beautiful told story.
Yeah. I mean, overall, this was just another like. If I was to describe Worlds Collide in like one word, it was a fun show.
Yeah,
Uh, all the matches were solid, and it really highlighted that lucha style, which I feel like some people may have been introduced to for the very first time.
yeah.
Uh, now, and the other cool part was it got to introduce some new talent, especially
The
in
most
this.
overt motherfucker of the week.
Let's talk about it. Who is the most over of the week?
I'm so happy people got to finally get introduced to Mr. Iguana. Again, I watch everything, so I knew who Mr. Iguana was going into the day. I love that. That dude got his flowers because he has been killing stuff for like 10, 15 years.
Yep. Well, before we get into him, we also had
Yes.
Legado del Fantasma versus Psycho Clown, uh, Dr. Wagner Jr., and
I
uh,
forgot this match. I'm not.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, you're good. Um, Now, I've gone on the record saying Psycho Clown is probably the only clown that I actually like.
Yeah.
Me and Psycho Clown are cool.
Yeah.
We have a mutual respect for uh, one another. I
Uh,
mean,
this was another match. I'm happy people on a worldwide scale got to see a Dr. Wagner Jr., a Psycho Clown, and a Pagano. Because again, these are Lucha Libre legends, guys who've been doing it for 20, 25 years, 30 years. Dr. Wagner Jr. is a third generation wrestler
hmm
whose dad still wrestles. His
which
brother's a wrestler. Like they
which and
are,
I think what they say about Psycho Clown, he's a fifth generation or something,
yes.
which I
Psycho Clown
actually
is a fifth generation wrestler, uh,
yeah,
part of the Alvarado wrestling family that goes
yep,
back to like the 40s.
yep. Which I mean
Um,
I didn't even know that.
yeah,
Um, yeah, this was another. I mean, I feel like the main goal on a lot of these matches was not so much the end result of it, but it was introducing you to these characters.
yeah.
Uh, if I'm nitpicking, I would have. I feel like I would have liked to seen Psycho Clown and Wagner
So
Jr.
then
hit.
when I,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, cause I don't know, like
that's my
Santos
only issue with
Escobar.
this event was WWE guys going over so much.
Yeah. I mean,
That's my
it,
only like nitpick of the event.
yeah. Um, I would agree. I would agree with that. And it seems like this could have been one where it could have went the other way, but it was still a solid, very entertaining match. Um, but honestly, I mean, I think if there was a match that like stole the show this weekend, it was this one right here. And like you said, the most over motherfucker of the weekend.
Again, a guy who's been wrestling since uh, '09.
Yep,
That's God. That's 16 years.
yep. And they freaking showed him at Money in the Bank, and he got a pop.
Yeah, pop.
Yep. So.
Uh, Interesting fact about this match. Another guy in the match, Aerostar.
Hmm.
He was the very last character that was actually created by AAA owner and founder and creator Pena, Antonio Pena, before he died.
Huh. That is interesting. Um, but overall, Worlds Collide, super entertaining show. Um, I can't wait to see like what they do, like with like the next one, or um, where the partnership's going to go from here. I think it was definitely we got off to a good start. Um, like we said, maybe the WWE talent went over a little too much, but you know, it's the start of something new. We'll see where we go from here. Um, Also, TNA had Against All Odds this past weekend. Solid show. Uh, did you have like a favorite match or moment or anything from this
Um,
show?
from this show, that 8-man tag with the Hardys and Leon and A1 Mr. Hometown,
Uh huh.
because it being Cody Deaner after he got fired, I
Uh huh.
thought was hilarious because you could tell. And I was like, yeah, they're doing this gimmick, this storyline. I love that.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I this was a decent show to me.
Yeah. If I'm nitpicking, I'm not sure why we have Joe Henry jobbing out to Kazarian, but that's neither here nor there. But I want to,
I
yeah.
I'm not a
I,
Henry fan, so I
well,
didn't really care if he won or not.
well.
I do not believe in Joe Henry.
Oh my gosh, you're just like my wife. Not sure if you saw my post over the weekend, but I found
Oh, I
out.
did.
I found out my wife doesn't believe in Joe Henry.
I
But
was, and then it just became a thing where it was like, okay, you're gonna keep him having him lose, and it was just like you were dragging this out, and you're pushing him, but no results, and it just got kind of old.
but to me, a couple of big things of note here from this event. We did get the return of none other than Killer
This was actually
Kelly.
my favorite moment because I love Killer Kelly.
Hmm.
Uh, I was wondering when she was gonna come back to TNA since I had been seeing her at Wrestling Revolver shows over the last few months. She
Yeah.
had her kid because she manages her husband on Wrestling Revolver. So I was
Hmm.
like, oh, I wonder if she's coming back to TNA. So to see her return and the chain with Masha, that was beautifully done.
Yeah. I think she's quote unquote saying, I'm off the leash now, and I think we may have a
Oh, that fight's gonna be crazy.
oh, for sure, because both those women are nuts.
They are. I just watched Masha Slamovich kick ass at both Tournament of Survival and Cage of Survival in the last 2 days. She's fucking psycho.
Yes, 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 indeed she is, and we mean that in the most respectful
Yes,
way
very most respectful
possible.
way. Masha, do not kill me.
Yep. That wasn't the only return, though. We also got the return of none other than the Inspiration, making their return to TNA, and seems like they're sending a clear message here. Want
Yes,
some
and
tag team gold again?
I also have a funny story about this match or this segment because right before they returned to TNA, I made a video on TikTok because they're coming up here to wrestle in Oregon for Prestige.
Huh.
They're actually going to be wrestling former WWE talent Bea Priestley and Alana Black.
Ooh.
So, and then it was like 2 minutes later, they popped up on the screen. I was like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So,
But-
shout out to the inspiration.
Yep. Nonetheless, it is great to see the inspiration back. But you mentioned it with Masa Slamovich. Let's get right into it. GCW Tournament of Survival. Always one of my favorite GCW events of the year because, well, let's be real.
We're
It's
bloodthirsty sons of bitches.
Yeah, it's just ultra violent, and Matt Tremont picks up the win, but I mean, at what cost? I mean, there was a wiffle bat with tacks that he took to the head
He
multiple
was
times.
squirting blood like a water fountain by the finals. Like I have this weird thing where I don't watch horror movies, I don't watch scary movies, I don't watch any of that kind of stuff. But god damn it, do I want me a GCW show?
Yep. See, I'm kind of the same way. Like I'll do like a stupid slasher movie, like a Halloween or Friday the 13th, just because it's stupid. But yeah, I don't like scary movies either. I'm right there with you. But Matt Tremont, you're one bad motherfucker, and you're insane.
That makes him the most winningest deathmatch wrestler tournament-wise, with 10 tournament wins.
That's awesome. That is awesome. But other big news out of Tournament of Survival, we saw Shotzi Blackheart.
So
What?
Yeah, this was amazing. Because she wrestled in California the night before. Like, literally flew from California to the East Coast, got there, like, right before show, I heard.
Mhm.
And it was like, is this happening? And then, I guess, forgot his name, on GCW. Lauderdale
Right.
was like, yeah, no, this is happening. She's here.
Yeah.
Turn her music on.
Yep. Super dope dope
Balls to
moment.
the wall, Shotzi Blackheart back in GCW. For anyone who does not know, pre WWE, Shotzi killed it in GCW, and it was actually one of the promotions that helped her get hired by the WWE in the first place.
All right, but Tournament of Survival wasn't the only big show from this past weekend. We also had MLW War
I
Chamber.
have not been able to watch this yet.
Well, that's what we're here for at PW60. So, MLW War Chamber, which, for those of you that don't know, it basically
It's War Games.
it's their version of War Games.
It was for the longest time actually called War Games when they did the first two in 03 and 04, and then WWE finally actually bought back the rights to the name War Games.
I mean, nothing really to write home about here. I mean, it was a solid show.
Are we seeing the breakup of the Rogue Horsemen?
I think we are. I mean,
Okay, then.
that was the
big
big takeaway from this show. Probably the biggest takeaway from the entire show.
Okay. Yeah, that is a show I'm probably going to either watch tomorrow or Tuesday. It was free on YouTube, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, so much wrestling, so
little time. And I got a personal life.
Yep. Now, every once in a while, though, we do need to spice things up. So let's go to Spicy Guac with a spicy take.
That's the way you do it is my dick in a box. My dick in a box. It's my dick in a box. My dick in a box, girl.
Thank you, spicy.
Alrighty then.
That was ultra spicy. I love the shirt, by the way.
That was, and I'm pretty sure he was singing "Dick in a Box."
Oh, he was. He totally was.
I was
He
like,
totally was.
"Is that what I think that was?"
He totally was. He may not have been saying every word, but he was definitely humming it. But we also had AEW Fighter Fest taking over our televisions for 4 hours on Wednesday. 4 hours. That,
Yeah,
that's borderline pay per view.
I'm gonna keep my mouth wide about how I feel about that. It was an okay show, but 4 hours of a dynamite.
4 hours. Well, it wasn't a Dynamite. It was Dynamite and Collision. Let's be real, because they didn't want to do Collision on Saturday for obvious reasons that we've already talked about.
Facts.
But
Touche.
but I mean, I don't know. That is a long time, and I'll be honest, I didn't make it through the full 4 hours in one night.
Me neither. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah.
I kind of was. I
But
had to do some other things.
yeah, I mean, it happens. But I mean, like you said though, it was a solid show, and I did really enjoy how a lot of what happened on quote unquote Dynamite of this week,
Yes, dynamite was really good.
like led into, you know, what was going to happen on Collision that immediately followed. Um, so I mean, it was a really solid show. I mean, I think if you're nitpicking anything, 4 hours is a really long time, especially for the middle of the week. But I think it's one of those things they were kind of playing the hand that they were dealt,
Yeah,
and so they tried to make the best of it. Um, I mean,
that that main event for Dynamite, that 4-way was fucking amazing.
it was
That that was beautifully done.
it really was. I mean, if it's weird because it feels like they were all one show because I mean it basically
Yeah,
was all one show. I mean, Dynamite was amazing. I mean, Collision. I mean, it kind of was what it was. I mean, love seeing Osprey in action, and we did get the continuation of stories and everything. But um,
I
well,
literally left Collision right after Nick Wayne's match. I'm gonna be. I
yeah.
wanted to see Nick wrestle because again, I'm a homer and biased as fuck.
Hey, but you're honest about it.
Yeah. So
But like it or not, we're gonna get another one this week. We're getting what are they calling it this week? Blockbuster or
oh
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
another 4 hours.
it's another 4 hour block.
Yeah, I
I
forgot that
mean,
was happening. Thanks for the reminder.
I mean, my one complaint about the whole thing is I don't know why they didn't update their photos on their website because, well, that's why you have this graphic because they didn't put the photo gallery up. Let's be real. That's pulling back
Summer
the curtain.
blockbuster.
Yep, summer blockbuster. That's pulling back the curtain on PW60 here, which you will also get to see next week as we do a podcast and behind the scenes of PW60 as we
I
celebrate our 100th episode.
the matches that have been announced, I'm kind of excited for.
Yeah, summer
Uh,
blockbusters should be
like
good.
Will Ospreay versus Swerve should be really fucking good.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
but speaking of matches being announced, let's talk about it.
oh,
Holy shit! Okada versus Omega in the United States. Winner takes all at All In.
yeah. Uh,
You don't seem excited about this.
I love Kenny to death. I do. I have not liked what they have done with Okada's character. I think that's been my only my grip with this situation. the comedy character they have turned Okada into makes me less excited for this. I'm excited for the in-ring work, but it's just like Okada's not like he was in New Japan.
That is true. But
So it can.
regardless,
No, the match is
regardless,
going to kill.
yeah, it's gonna be amazing. First time happening in North America. That's gonna be one of the big draws of the show. I am wet and moist just thinking about it. I'm not gonna lie. That may be
Yeah.
TMI, but I don't care. Speaking of wet and moist though, let's go to Best Scout Machine.
Follow Best Scout Machine or suffer the consequences. Oh my god. Kazuchika Okada and Kenny Omega are gonna fight again? Oh god. Oh god. That's such a mess. Oh god, just finding out about Kazuchika Okada and Kenny Omega. Oh my god, that is so much right there. God, that is one intense wet dream.
Hey, have you seen the bikini pictures of Bailey?
Oh, oh god. Oh god. Oh god, so much. Oh god, a wet dream within a wet dream, dear god.
Hey, you want to eat Arby's for breakfast?
Oh god. Oh god. A wet dream within a wet dream and within a wet dream. Oh god. So much. So much. Whew. Oh, my cheeks are flush and these sheets are destroyed.
Hey, did you know that Chris Gaines is Garth Brooks?
What? Dude. Oh god. Oh god. Jesus, all those dreams. Too bad the Kenny Omega one and Kazuchika Okada one isn't real. What's on the... Oh my god, it's real? Phew. I'm just gonna keep reliving this over and over again. Here. Tater tots. Tater tots. Delicious tater tots. It's all I can think about. Where can I find delicious tater tots? There's no tater tots here. Oh, wait. They do have Salisbury steak. Salisbury steak does it every time.
Alrighty then. Best Scout, I hope you did your laundry this week. Or at very least, I hope your wife did. That's a lot. Hey, we did say wet and moist though. But looking back to Monday Night Raw, which obviously feels like a lifetime ago, especially when we have like 5 to 6 shows over the weekend. We did see Stephanie Vaquer qualifying for Money in the Bank. Awesome. And we also saw Grande Americana qualifying for Money in the Bank. Let me ask you this. What's your opinion on El Grande Americana?
I have now grown to be not like the gimmick. Kind of like, okay, it's a thing.
Yeah.
They haven't gone too overly offensive.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, it is what it is.
To me,
The reveal of it being Gable in the end is going to be really good.
I don't know what you're talking about because they're two different people, but
Then, like, who was it calling him Grande Americano Gable on Raw multiple times was hilarious.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I think one of the big takeaways too from Raw is, like we were talking about earlier during Money in the Bank, Seth's group is,
Dominated.
yeah.
Yeah.
If they're not already, they're definitely about to be even more dominant, and I think be dripped in all the gold.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
so, but we shall see as we tune into Raw here in just a little bit. But taking a look at SmackDown as well, um, we got to see. Oh, it jumped to NXT. We're trying time travel here on PW60, but SmackDown was a solid show of the go home show for Money in the Bank, and we got to see Jimmy Uso in action, and as well as we got that beautiful shot of Logan Paul and John Cena
John,
with
that
the
was a great
championship.
ending.
Yeah,
I think that was
yeah,
very much well done.
yeah. Considering the job was to piss people off, so job
Yeah,
well done.
yeah, very much so. Vikingo on SmackDown, phenomenal.
Amazing.
Yeah, like that makes
I
me
mean,
happy.
the more El Hijo de Vikino we get, the
The
better.
better. Yes,
Like
absolutely.
he can be on Raw, he can be on SmackDown, he can be on NXT.
I
He
just
can
want him on television.
he can just be on all the things.
Yes.
Just put
Uh,
him on all the things,
yes.
please.
We also
And
on this
thank you.
SmackDown got the start of the dissension of what led to what Jacob did when he caught El Solo calling him dumb and no
Mhm.
brains. That was perfectly well done.
Which led to I hate you, Solo.
Yeah.
Yep.
That match, whether it's Jacob versus Solo or Jacob versus JC Mateo, whatever they do at SummerSlam is going to be fucking amazing.
Yeah. And let me go on the record saying JC Mateo is still a stupid dumbass name.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with calling him Jeff Cobb. Just saying. All right. Jumping to NXT and thinking about happier thoughts. NXT, solid show this week. I think the big takeaway from the week is who is going to be the next challenger in the women's division, as we saw multiple
I
women coming out to make their claim.
I think that was also the case for the title, and I think they are very going to show NXT very much on Evolution.
Yeah, I think so too. But let's talk about what everybody's talking about from NXT this week. NXT got a little bit more glamorous, as
Facts.
we
But
saw.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Did you notice they did the Ricky Starks thing and they didn't say her name?
Yeah, I know. She's probably gonna get
Nobody's
some.
talked about that I've seen on TikTok.
Yep.
So it was like they did it. They did the same thing with Ricky, and they
Yep.
didn't say her name.
She's probably gonna get some dumbass name like.
First off, Ricky Saints is not a dumbass name.
No, Ricky Saints is not a dumbass name. I'm just still on the JC Mateo thing.
Okay. I was gonna say he is from New Orleans and he is a Saints fan.
Yeah.
It works.
Ricky Saints is fine. But I'm just still bitter about JC Mateo.
That understandable. But yeah, when I watched that segment, I was like, they didn't there was no name there.
Yep. That is true. But luckily for us, we do have an expert in this field. So let's go to Chrissy for her take on this miraculous, glamorous event.
I really am happy for her, you guys. Hi, babies. So last night on NXT television, The Glamour has debuted. Mariah May has shown up in NXT in WWE, and I guess you can say I was a little excited for it. just a little, no big deal. And after all these screaming and hooting and hollering happened, and after all the celebrations were had, I had to sit back and think about it, and I got a little sad because with Mariah being here and Tony being in AEW, the Hollywood ending was apparently just that. It was an actual ending. In the mythos that is professional wrestling, there are very few duos of performers that are destined to fight forever, like The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, like Triple H and Shawn Michaels, like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, like Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. And I really thought that we would get this ran back every few years because that's just how good the storyline was. So to sit here and really absorb the fact that these two incredible performers may not ever cross paths again, it is incredibly bittersweet. Mariah May is now in the place that she's always wanted to work. She's always wanted to be in WWE, and she's been to these other amazing places all over the world to more or less build her resume to get to this spot where she always wanted to be, which is amazing. And I love that for her. And with Toni Storm being probably one of, if not the biggest draw in AEW right now, I really don't see her going anywhere anytime soon either. So is it bittersweet? Absolutely. I really do feel that no one will ever mean to Toni what Mariah meant, and that no one will mean to Mariah what Toni meant. But it is also a beautiful thing because we all got to see that lightning in a bottle moment with this storyline, with this rivalry, and it'll never happen again. Well, hopefully it does, but fingers crossed. So as we say goodbye to this chapter of Mariah May's career, all we can do is just say thank you for the amazing impact that she had on the AEW women's division, and hopefully the women on the roster continue to try and attempt to fill her shoes, and they are incredibly large shoes to fill because even though I am the Toni Storm girl, Mariah May is incredibly talented, ridiculously so, and I think she's going to do amazing things in NXT. From possible matchups with her, with JC Jane and Jordan Grace, and all these other amazing women that they have on the NXT women's roster. I'm so excited to see what she does and how soon she gets to the title, because we're gonna all be real honest here. Mariah May is made for gold. Mariah May is destined to be a champion, and she is going to run that show like no other. And I, for one, cannot wait to just sit back and watch. And now that Mariah is going to be running NXT and Toni's going to be running AEW, I can afford to be a fan of both, and I don't have to be torn anymore between my two favorite blondes. And that's honestly just a win for me. If I'm being honest, I think this is just a really long-winded way of saying that I do love and appreciate Mariah May for everything that she is, for everything that she's done for AEW, for everything that she's done for Toni, and everything that she will continue to do, because she's just that damn good. So thank you, Mariah, for everything. And NXT is about to get a whole lot more glamorous.
All right, well, thank you, Chrissy. It was also announced at Money in the Bank that WrestleMania, indeed, yes, indeed, the rumors are true, it will be returning to Las Vegas. All I gotta say is, money, 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 here comes the money! To me, it's obviously all about the money.
It is. And Dana White's, for some reason, trying to turn this into the UFC, since a lot of their big shows are in Vegas. Since he is one of the major figures of the TKO board. I hate this. You're screwing other cities out of WrestleMania bids. This is bullshit. And also, I had a lot of friends who worked last year's WrestleMania weekend for the indie shows, and they were not a fan of hotel bookings and travel and trying to get through that city. So the few indie guys I have talked to are not happy about this.
Yeah, it will be interesting to say the least. But I really don't have much to add other than just
Yeah.
reporting on it. It is kind of sad in a way. Um, it's bitter. I feel bittersweet in a way because I do think I'm gonna try to make it out there for the collective this year. Uh, and I mean I'm not planning to go to Mania, but I think I may try to go to the collective. Um, but it is. I hate to say it is what it is, but at the end of the day, it's being driven by money, and
Yeah.
there's really nothing we can do about it.
Yeah. Sadly.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, speaking of being driven by money, this could be why they're being driven by money, because apparently TKO is 3.707 whatever $billion in debt. That's a big number. It's a big number.
I do blame the other sports entities that they have bought. Because, no offense, who the fuck's going to bull riding?
Bull riding is one of those things that like pops up on your TV after football, and you're like, "What the hell?"
Like, who the fuck is going to like the PBR shows? Like the fact that I every month or two get those streaming on WWE's YouTube page is crazy. So maybe sell the other entities you have bought over the last 2 years, TKO. Because I
Well,
know there's a few other like sports entities outside of UFC and WWE.
yeah,
Maybe you would be not in debt, you
yeah,
jackasses. Sorry, I am.
yeah. Well, no, I don't think you're the only one. We don't claim to be businessmen, but we do claim to be humans, and we just we like things to not be crazy expensive like a WrestleMania in Vegas. I
Yeah,
said it.
yeah.
And now, over the weekend as well, Mercedes Monet won herself
Another
another
belt. Whoop de
another belt.
doo.
Whoop de doo.
I. She's another one I don't care for. I never have. The belt collecting thing is like you're screwing a lot of other fucking great women, especially on the AEW roster. Like I know the WWE fans love calling Becky Hogan. That's the fucking Hogan.
That is a good point. Um, yeah, I yeah
Just seeing
that
her on my screen is actually pissing me off.
yeah. Oh, well we don't want that. So let's fix that real quick. And I did just get word from the network as well. We are a little credited to go into a little bit of overtime, so the network is very good to us and always have been and always will be. I mean, shoot, they've sponsored us for 99 and going on 100 episodes, so we do appreciate that. But as we're wrapping up here, we're going to talk about something that's not cool because it was reported this past week that both Roxanne and Dominic Mysterio were receiving death threats.
Yeah. Fans suck.
Fans suck.
I truly, the Roxanne news genuinely upset me. I didn't hear about the Dominic stuff, so that's new to me. But the Roxanne stuff, that hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we've already had to deal with this last year with Asuka.
Yeah.
Like, creepy
So,
men, leave these women alone.
exactly. I mean, that's the freaking. That's the best way you could say. I mean, like, I hate it. I hate
Yeah.
it that there is.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It's,
Well, I need some happier news. Hopefully this, our next story. Oh fuck. It's also reported this week that Liv Morgan
stalker.
had a stalker that got arrested.
again,
So
creepy
I
ass
guess
men. Leave
I
these
guess
women
it's
alone.
yeah, I guess it's good news that he did get caught and get arrested. That
Yes.
is the good part. But like you said, yeah, again, creepy ass men. Leave these women alone. For the love of God, please.
And stop falling for fakes, you idiots. It's not that difficult.
Oh. In other news,
Can I go off on this motherfucker?
of course you can.
Ric Flair, this is what you get for the shit you said about Jim Ross. I don't feel bad that you got cancer again because you're a dick.
See, I'm kind of glad you were here for this because I feel like that would be very much XLJ's reaction to this as
Karma's a bitch, Flair. And I hope someone fucking clips that too.
Karma's a bitch, Flair. I think we should put it on a t-shirt, borderline. In other news, it was also reported that Ricky Morton is closing his wrestling school.
Yeah, that sucks. I do that's horrible. You should close his career though. Like 30 years ago.
Tell me how you really feel. Jeez. All right.
I watched the match they had for during the collective weekend.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, this is not what it should be.
All right. Well, we've already got you riled up here. So we might as well move on to this next bit.
I'm not a big fan of the sponsors. I'm not a big fan of the sponsorship stuff, like I said earlier. But Slim Jim Table does have a funny ass ring to it.
Hey, snapping to a Slim Jim. That's all I gotta say.
It was really funny hearing it on commentary.
Hey.
It did get a chuckle out of me hearing Corey Graves say Slim Jim Table multiple times.
Multiple times. Oh. We are in a new world. That is for sure.
Yeah.
The product placement has gone next level, and it's beginning to become so random.
It is. It's weird. Again, they are turning this into the UFC. If you watch UFC and you see that goddamn octagon and the product placement on their mat, that's what's happened.
Yeah.
It's like 2007 UFC all over again.
Yeah. That is true. But speaking of random, let's go to Brian with our random moment of the week.
Yes, it's time again for Brian's random moment of the week, or we might start calling it 2 minutes or so of random. Yes, Barber. You know how it goes. All right, so here we go. Money in the Bank, obviously in the books, has been well talked about already. Of course, as you know by now, or you might have watched it, or whatever the case is, that Naomi won the women's Money in the Bank briefcase, easy for me to say, and of course, Seth Rollins winning the men's briefcase. So now, 3-part question. Here we go. And I want you to comment. This is the interactive part, and where you get to chime in as well with your thoughts, your opinions. So, question number 1. When do each of them, and I want separate answers, say Naomi, answer the 3 questions, Seth, same 3 questions. So, question number 1. When do each of them cash in? Do they cash in on the same event? Maybe SummerSlam, Survivor Series, maybe WrestleMania next year, Money in the Bank next year, or a random Raw, SmackDown, whatever the case might be. So you get to pick when. You get to pick who they cash in on. Does Naomi cash in on, let's say, Tiffany Stratton at fill in the blank from the first question? Does Seth cash in on John Cena or Jey Uso? And you pick one, of course, going with the first question. Then the third question, will they be successful? It could be a situation where you say, kind of like the game Clue, where you fill the things in. Like Naomi will cash in on Tiffany Stratton and be successful at SummerSlam. Or you might say Seth Rollins will cash in on Jey Uso at Survivor Series, but be unsuccessful. You get to answer all three questions and put it all together. So there you go. So when do they cash in, each of them? Who do they cash in on? And will they be successful? Answer those three questions, put it together, have yourself a great week and enjoy more PW60.
Well, thank you, Brian. And like we already alluded to, we think that Seth cashes as soon as tonight on Monday Night Raw. And honestly, I said it on our prediction show. I have a feeling that both of them are, like, both of the briefcases are getting cashed in early this year. I don't know why, but I don't think anybody's going to hold on to the briefcase for too long this year for whatever reason. But we do also love our pro wrestling content creators here, except for the creepy ones that like to stalk people. But our Ruby Ringside pro wrestling content creator of the week this week is none other than J. T. Mitch. Found this one here, and honestly, I'm a big fan of anyone that is like artistic and has like the talent to draw, because that is something that I do not have, and I think
those are beautiful.
It's really, really cool. So definitely does some cool work and some pro wrestling artwork. So do yourself a favor and definitely go give them a follow. They are our wrestling content creator of the week. All right, just a couple more stories here as we wrap up. It was announced, Alex Windsor announced over the weekend that she is all elite. Now, for those of you that don't know, that is the significant other of none other than the bruv himself, Will Ospreay. So I guess you can say not a big shocker there, but it will be interesting to see where we go from here, and what they do with her, if it's going to be something that's full time or just kind of here and there. I'm going to be honest, I don't really know.
I've seen a couple matches. She is talented. Give her that. I'm not going to say it's like she's only getting hired because of her husband. She is very talented, but yeah, I've only seen a couple matches.
Yeah. So it will be interesting to see. And our last story of the week here was announced that King and Queen of the Ring will be returning again this year. So it will be interesting to see what they do with this. I'm assuming they're going to do the tournament again, and
tournament, the semifinals and the finals will be at the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's at least how it read or sounded. I just don't have I hope they don't do that fucking big ass ugly belts again.
Oh, I'm sure they probably will.
That shit was disgusting.
I'm sure they probably will, though. But, well, somehow, some way, we have done it yet again in 60-ish minutes or so. But we thank you for joining us, and a big thank you to Michael for joining us this week and helping us fill in for this 99th special edition episode. And you're going to want to make sure you tune in next week for the 100th episode of PW60. And we're also going to have lots of behind the scenes, as well as we're going to do a Colecast where we're going to try to get the band all together and we're going to talk about how PW60 was born and a lot of the behind the scenes and everything. So it's going to be a good next week next week here on Cole TV. As always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And until then, we'll see you next week and enjoy Monday Night Raw.